When people hear the word introvert, they often think of someone who is shy, quiet, or socially awkward. But in psychology, introversion doesn't necessarily mean any of those things. Instead, introversion is more about how a person gains and loses energy. If you're an introvert, you may notice that social interactions, especially long or crowded ones, can feel draining over time. Even if you enjoy the conversation, you might still feel the need to step away and recharge afterward. On the other hand, spending time alone or in calm and quiet environments may help you feel more refreshed and balanced. This is one of the key differences between introverts and extroverts. While extroverts often gain energy from being around others, introverts tend to restore their energy through solitude or low stimulation settings. It's also important to understand that introversion is not the same as social anxiety. Some introverts are very comfortable talking to people, expressing ideas, or even being in the spotlight. The difference is not their ability, but how long they can sustain that energy. You might enjoy socializing, but only in small doses, or you may prefer meaningful conversations over casual small talk. Understanding this can help remove a lot of confusion and self-judgment. Instead of thinking, "Why am I like this?" you may begin to see it as a natural part of your personality. And once you understand how your energy works, it becomes easier to create a lifestyle that feels more comfortable and sustainable. Social introverts are often misunderstood. From the outside, they may seem selective or even distant, but in reality, they don't dislike social interaction. They simply prefer it in smaller, more meaningful ways. If you relate to this type, you might enjoy spending time with a close group of friends rather than attending large gatherings or crowded events. You may feel comfortable in conversations where there is depth and connection, but feel drained by environments that require constant interaction with many people. For example, you might enjoy a quiet dinner with one or two people, but feel overwhelmed at a loud party filled with unfamiliar faces. This doesn't mean you lack social skills. In fact, many social introverts are great listeners and form very strong, meaningful relationships. The key difference is preference, not ability. You may also notice that after socializing, even with people you like, you still need time alone to recharge. This doesn't mean you didn't enjoy the experience. It just means your energy works differently. Another common trait is that social introverts tend to be more selective about who they spend time with. Instead of having a large circle, they often prefer a few close connections. Understanding this can help reduce pressure to fit in with more extroverted expectations. You don't need to attend every event or be constantly available to others. Your way of socializing is simply different, not wrong. Thinking introverts tend to spend a lot of time in their inner world. If you relate to this type, you may often find yourself reflecting, imagining, or analyzing different situations in your mind. You might replay conversations, think about possibilities, or create detailed ideas internally. To others, this may appear as quietness, but internally, your thoughts are often very active. You may also enjoy activities that allow you to explore your imagination, such as writing, reading, or simply daydreaming. In many cases, thinking introverts are highly creative and introspective. They enjoy understanding ideas, patterns, and emotions on a deeper level. However, this strong inner focus can sometimes make it harder to stay present in external environments. You might find yourself zoning out during conversations or getting lost in thought. It's also possible to overanalyze situations, especially social interactions. You may think about what you said, how it was perceived, or what you could have said differently. While this can lead to insight and self-awareness, it can also become mentally exhausting if it happens too often. Understanding this tendency can help you find balance. You don't need to stop thinking deeply, but learning when to step out of your thoughts can make everyday interactions feel easier. Your inner world is rich and valuable, but it doesn't always need to take over every moment. Anxious introverts often experience a combination of introversion and social worry. If you relate to this type, social situations may feel stressful, not just because they are draining, but because they involve a level of uncertainty or fear of judgment. You might worry about what others think of you, or feel unsure about what to say in conversations. Before social events, you may feel nervous or hesitant, and after they're over, you might replay moments in your mind, wondering if you said something wrong. This pattern of overthinking can make social interaction feel more exhausting than it already is. It's important to understand that this is not just about personality preference, but also about how your mind processes social experiences. You may be more sensitive to social cues, tone of voice, or facial expressions. While this can increase awareness, it can also lead to misinterpretation. For example, a neutral reaction from someone might be perceived as negative. Over time, this can make you more cautious in social settings. However, being an anxious introvert doesn't mean you can't improve your comfort in these situations. Awareness is the first step. Recognizing these patterns can help you slowly challenge them at your own pace, and it's okay to take small steps. You don't have to suddenly become outgoing or confident overnight. Understanding your experience is already a meaningful beginning. Reined introverts are often more reserved in how they approach the world. If you relate to this type, you may prefer to observe before you engage. In conversations, you might take time to think before speaking rather than responding immediately. This can make you appear calm, controlled, or even distant to others. But internally, you are simply processing information carefully. You may also prefer routines and predictability. Sudden changes or unexpected situations can feel uncomfortable, as you tend to function better when you have time to prepare. In social settings, you might not jump into conversations right away. Instead, you observe the environment, understand the dynamics, and then slowly participate. This doesn't mean you lack confidence. It simply means you value thoughtfulness over spontaneity. Restrained introverts are often seen as dependable and steady. They don't rush decisions, and they rarely act impulsively. However, one challenge can be hesitation. Taking too much time to respond or act may sometimes cause missed opportunities. Understanding this pattern can help you find a balance between thinking and acting. You don't need to change your natural pace, but gently stepping out of your comfort zone, when needed, can help you engage more fully with the world around you. While these categories can be helpful, it's important to remember that human personality is rarely that simple. You may not fit perfectly into just one type. In fact, many people relate to a combination of these introvert styles. For example, you might be a thinking introvert who also experiences social anxiety, or a social introvert who prefers routine like a restrained introvert. These overlaps are completely normal. Personality exists on a spectrum, and it can also change depending on the situation. You might feel more social in familiar environments, but more anxious in unfamiliar ones. Or you may think deeply in some situations, but act quickly in others. Understanding this flexibility can help you avoid labeling yourself too strictly. These types are not boxes, but tools for self-awareness. They are meant to help you recognize patterns, not limit who you are. By observing your own behaviors and reactions, you can start to understand what environments suit you best and what challenges you may want to work on. Over time, this awareness can help you build a more balanced and comfortable way of interacting with the world.